we are going to transition now to Emily. This is loading.
Welcome.
Hello. All right, so Emily, I'm going to throw this link in the chat. Everyone, so that everybody else can see it. I need to close chat so that nobody can see the private conversations we're having. I'm just kidding. I don't care. So Emily, I asked this to everybody when they first got here, to New as well. What was it like when you kind of saw, oh shoot, I have this image? What was your initial thought when you saw this?
I was terrified because I had no idea who it could possibly be. And I was like, I'm gonna look like a noob because I have no speculations, I have no ideas. And also at the time I didn't know that there was other images. So
Yeah,
I
that was the other
I
thing.
thought this is the only one. And I was like, this doesn't seem like a titular character. Like it doesn't seem like a very important person. So I was like, what? And then, I started seeing all the other images and I was like, oh, there's a lot. There's like multiple. But yeah, I mostly was just like, I have no idea
Okay.
who this could be.
I love that this is so nondescript. I'll
Yeah.
kind of leave this open and you can sort of decide amongst yourselves how you want to take on this. Does anyone have any thoughts on this image? Because I mean, this is one of the ones that Emily, you kind of got the short end of the stick here, that there's no context clues, there's no runes. It's not like a specific skin color that makes you think like, oh, this is definitely some sort of dwarf in the mount. Like it could be anyone, really.
Yeah. I liked what you said about a mother. Like it
With
definitely
the
it
hands,
gave
this
me
feels
a
like,
woman.
yeah, this feels like a very pregnant lady kind of thing.
Yeah, it feels like a woman. I saw some people in my comments say it could be a hobbit. Um,
Mm.
I know
Someone
because
just asked if it was two
human.
people.
Is
I got a couple of Hobbit comments. Actually, my first thought was
Mm.
that it was two people.
so
My
that like
first
like the hands are wrapped
Yeah, it
around.
looked like class.
Oh.
It took me a
That's
second
a good
to look
thought.
at it
Oh,
to
I
realize
like
that it
this.
wasn't because it kind of looks like it's one person's hand and then another person's hand that's like sort of
And
behind
they've got
them.
like the drapery around them.
Yeah.
Investigator Emily, go ahead, girl.
No, that's great.
Go off.
It could be looking. I'm an exercise kinesiologist.
Yeah, you have the expertise on this in like
I'm
real
like
life,
body
Chris.
positioning. It is possible. I was noting when I looked at it, I'm like, this is a much thicker build of a person based on where the arms are at. So the idea that this is somebody hugging, basically the person with the red shirt, it's both of their arms because you see a bit of the red shirt on the right hand as well as the left. So this could be someone who's hugging somebody else. Now, what direction that person is facing, they could be slightly to the side, or they could be facing completely into the person that's hugging them, which is why we don't see them.
Oh.
I could see
depending on how the clothing is draped.
Yeah,
the person that's being hugged could be in like two different positions. But because of the way that those arms are coming around, it really does look more like someone's hugging somebody else. That is a great observation. I did not catch that.
That's a good one. I dig it.
Yeah.
And just as a detail, the bracelet there is made of lava rocks. I know because I make those.
What's your store, Chris? Tell the people what they need to know.
elfboy.com, elf-boi.com.
I love it. I love it so much. Okay, Emily, any further thoughts to add before we jump to the next one?
I don't think so. Yeah, I feel like this one was one of the less detailed ones. So,
but still just as cool, if not more, because there is an air of mystery.
It's mysterious because we don't know.
Yeah, it is. Okay, I just put the next one in chat. From a lore perspective, New, I'm going to ask you to jump in on this one first because it is the silver and gold dagger.
Oh,
And
I'm
we're all
dead.
gonna have thoughts on this one. New, set the scene for us, please. Why is this dagger silver and gold, and what does it represent?
Well, it represents the two trees of Valinor, of course. You can see the two trees come up on the pommel of the dagger, the handle, and literally intertwine. I'm looking at the armor here. I'm looking at the hand, and I'm not sure if this is a male. I think this is a female.
This did
But
strike
does
me
look
as
feminine.
it does strike me as a little feminine on this
Yeah.
one.
distracted me
The
as a
hand
little
is feminine.
The hips are a
so-
little accentuated as well.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't want to be sexist or anything
No.
like that. I didn't want to
It's-
jump to any conclusions. Then we got to think about, okay, if they have this dagger, for one, they got to be Noldorian because none of the Sylvan elves were around the two trees at all. The only one was Eagle, and he's long gone. So female elf who would be central to the story would be Galadriel. Armor Galadriel? I'm a little
Ooh.
confused now, but that's possible. Or
Mhm.
possibly another character that they made. But Galadriel was born under the two trees. She would know the most about them, even more than Círdan, who was the oldest elf in the world at this time. Galadriel was the second oldest, so she would know about this, the two trees.
She absolutely would.
She should be the only one actually that possesses this dagger with the two trees because she is directly from the before the first age when the trees were there. To my knowledge, at this time, only Círdan, and he never went to Valinor, was around the two trees. Now we can argue Glorfindel, but he shouldn't come. He comes with the blue wizards, so I wouldn't say it's Glorfindel. Like I said, this looks very feminine. There are other elves, Gildor, and things like that, but I don't think it's any of them. I think this is Galadriel. This is my thought process. The armor's throwing me though. But go ahead and interject if you think that is somebody else.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, Chris. I need to interrupt you too
That is
because
okay.
I think okay. What I'm about to say is entirely speculation. People that I know that might know more have seen things that maybe might suggest that New is right in his assumption, winky face. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, and this person...
Oh, you didn't give me the chance.
Chris, go right ahead.
I was gonna confirm why that is so likely. And this is again coming from my experience as an exercise kinesiologist. So if you look at the way that armor for women is typically constructed, we obviously have certain needs because the lady bits. So with breastplates in particular, like what I love about this design is it's not super obvious because fantasy is notoriously bad at giving women armor that has a push-up bra.
Glam,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
coming
not
to you
booby
on
armor.
that. I'm
And
gonna
it
come to
would
you on that
never
one.
be like that.
Oh God, can you imagine
Yeah.
just picture, I want you to picture like a 2022 not Peter Jackson version of this where Éowyn is not disguising herself as a writer, but is instead in like this Genshin Impact style.
Right. But that is what we have come to expect a lot in fantasy. And the choice to not do that here has me so hopeful because one of the really great things about the Lord of the Rings trilogy is that while there are very attractive people present all over the place, none of them are overtly sexualized.
They're all hot, but not sexualized, as I have
Exactly.
said.
And so if we're looking at the way that this breastplate is constructed, the way that it's tapered does help with specifically a feminine frame.
Yeah.
But also you look at the design quality of it. It accentuates the waist.
That's what I was
It
gonna
plumes
say.
out for the bosom. And the way that it is cut higher up because of the way women's hips work.
It looks like there's a skirt underneath.
Oh,
It's
Emily,
almost like
yeah.
a bodice. It's almost
It
like a
looks
bodice
the
with a
shape
skirt
where
underneath.
it's high up on her, where her hips dip in, but then it's kind of lower in the front. That is like
Mhm.
a woman. That is a female cut.
I
Yeah.
love it.
It's
I love
it's same thing as you see in corsetry. And then you look at just even the little details of the really tiny chain armor that's sticking out of the sleeve, that it has little dangly bits. That's not necessary, but it's a slightly feminine touch on the design.
Glam, I haven't heard from you in a hot second, and I believe you've made chainmail before, am I right?
I have, yeah.
Heck
I mean, this
yes.
is obviously more delicate. Obviously, it's more delicate chainmail, right? It's not like big, chunky, rings like we would see. So, I mean, that's obviously hinting towards something as well. Do y'all think those 3 little orbs on the blade symbolize anything at all?
Oh.
It could be the Silmarils, but it could also be
fruit on the trees or
the
something.
fruit on the trees, yeah.
Right.
Because but I mean, to be fair, the fruit would be gold, not silver, because it's the fruit of Laurelin and the flower of Telperion. So it would be flowers that would be silver, not the
Laurelin and
fruits.
Telperion, if you guys don't know, if you're watching, are the name of the 2 trees.
Mhm.
One was golden. That is actually the younger tree. The older tree is the tree of the moon, which is the silver tree. Is the older tree by like 12 hours or something like that?
Something ridiculous like that.
Something like that.
Time didn't really exist in Tolkien's universe.
Not in the same fashion.
No, not at all. Jamie, I'm curious to get your take on this. Do we see any like elvish rune symbol sort of stuff on this? And if not, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I don't see anything that indicates excuse me. I don't see anything that's actually written, but the fact that it's constructed in such a way that we've seen in the past, even in the past movies we've seen and other visuals we've seen, this is clearly elven armor. So it's definitely an elven person. I do agree that based off of the way the hand looks, the way the waist looks, and it just seems like this is a female character. And I would definitely say that based off of the giving the gold and the silver and the 2 trees, I think this is Galadriel. That's my take on it.
This is by far the most telling photo, I think. I'm sorry if I cut anybody off. It's kind of a giveaway with the dagger. If you know anything about the before the first age, nobody else is going to be carrying that dagger around with the 2 trees. It's just not even. They don't know anything about the 2 trees, to be honest. They would only have heard stories, and it wouldn't even make sense for them to carry the dagger around. Like, it would kind of be a slap in the face for them to give that to somebody else within Galadriel. So
another small note is if those 3 dots are not fruit from the tree, they could represent the Silmarils. And what a slap in the face it is to Feanor for Galadriel to be wielding a knife that has the 3 Silmarils represented on it.
Has anyone ever seen, there's a comic strip out there, I don't even know who did it, but it's something like, it's a cartoon comic of Gimli going, "You're so pretty, Galadriel, can I have your hair?" And he takes
and she's like, "You may have 3.
Yeah, and then the ghost of Feanor comes down, and he's like, and Galadriel's like,
"You are such a," and she's like, "Suck it, Feanor."
Yes.
Oh,
I saw that like literally the other day and laughed my butt off.
It's
but
beautiful.
It's so accurate.
It's beautiful.
Like that is the vibe. They were actively antagonistic toward each other.
Absolutely absolutely
I think one of the greatest things about this story is, you guys know anything about the Silmarillion, think about the people that hated each other or didn't trust each other the most were influenced by each other the most as well. So we have Morgoth and Feanor. It said nobody hated Morgoth more than Feanor, but literally half of Feanor's whole spiel is influenced by Morgoth. He doesn't even know it. And then we have Galadriel, who completely distrusts Feanor, but literally her whole thing with going and wanting a new kingdom is influenced by Feanor, who is in turn influenced by Morgoth. And literally these people don't even really like each other. Even though that's Galadriel's uncle, she didn't trust him and saw his dark heart and wouldn't give him the 3 hairs. You know,
hey, half uncle.
Listen, Chris, we don't have time to get into how complicated these family trees are. Honest to God,
but that's the fun part is that like there is so much interwoven between these characters that's part of the fun of it. That's part of the joy of, just how convoluted things get
It
between
really
the
is.
different plots in the Silmarillion.
All right, we are going to go ahead and jump. Sorry to cut you off, Chris, there. We are going to
Oh,
go
no,
ahead
no.
and jump to the next one.